The scripture leaves us with a very confused scene at the empty tomb. It is essentially a group of people standing around saying, "I don't believe it." And it made me think of that phrase, "Say what?" You know, the Urban Dictionary has a daily definition of different slang terms, and yesterday it was, "Say what is to be shocked by someone who has said something like, 'No obstruction, no obstruction.'" Say what? So when two people dressed in dazzling clothes then gathered in Jesus' empty tomb declaring, "He's risen," it is a say what moment. Go back to the scriptures. It begins with the obvious. Jesus is dead. And his followers assume, just as we do, that the dead stay dead. The women come to the tomb because that is where they saw the body of Jesus was placed after his crucifixion. They bring spices to anoint the body to show proper respect for the dead. The discovery of the empty tomb does not lead to an easy change of perspective. It brings confusion, not clarity. Bodies that are dead stay dead. But remember the two in dazzling clothes. They tell the women the opposite of what they know to be true. The dazzlers say, "Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here, but has risen." Say what? We might want to linger over the description of these angelic messengers, but they aren't the point. The focus is on the message, not the messengers. What is most striking is that the women encounter the resurrection through this message. They're told Jesus has risen. What they have is an unbelievable urge to say what? The only logical response to such a message is unbelief. Experience teaches, death wins. The Easter message says that Jesus lives. When such contradictory claims collide, it only makes sense to continue affirming what we already know. And this is what Luke reports. The women bring the message of the resurrection to the others, and the others, including Peter, respond as rational people would. They think the news, as the scripture says, is an idle tale, and they do not believe it. Now, unbelief does not mean that people believe nothing. Instead, unbelief means that they believe or they think something else. People say, "I don't believe it," because there is something else that they believe more strongly. Yet here's where the Easter message begins its work, by challenging our certainties. Experience teaches that death wins, that even the strongest succumb to it. Experience teaches life is what you make it, so get the most out of it. But the Easter message says, say what to that? The Easter message calls us to believe in life. The claim that the tomb could not hold Jesus, the idea that the one who died by crucifixion has now risen, is so outrageous that it might make you wonder. The apostles seemed convinced that the message was nonsense, nothing more than an idle tale, as Luke said. Death was death. Yet the message was so outrageous that Peter had to go in the tomb to take a look for himself. He had to wonder. And so do we.
Andy's parents were very poor. Andy went to his mother and father and said, "Things are a mess. We must do something or we will all starve. I am strong and smart. Send me to work." Finally, with tears in their eyes, Andy's parents sent him to a rich merchant who needed a boy to clean his stables. The rich man worked Andy hard. It did not matter that Andy was tired or hungry. He had to keep working until his boss said he could stop. In those days, there were no laws to protect children from evil bosses, and children worked long hours and in dangerous jobs. After months of working for the evil man, Andy realized he had to make changes or he would always be miserable. So one day, Andy ran away to the forest. He found a place where he could rest, a den tucked away deep in the brush beneath the trees. And he said, "I'll be safe here for a while." And soon he was fast asleep. Andy woke to the sound of growling. In front of him stood a huge lion. This is it, Andy thought. This hungry lion is going to eat me. Andy cringed, ready to be eaten. Andy peeked at the lion. Andy was surprised he was not eaten yet, and then he noticed the lion was holding up his paw. Andy noticed that the paw had a big thorn sticking out of it. Andy began to wonder if there might be some way out of this mess too. In an instant, he bravely reached out and pulled the thorn. Things looked very bad for a moment. But then, the lion seemed very happy. Andy and the lion became great friends. Andy lived in the forest with the lion and even invited his parents to come and visit. It was happily ever after with Andy and the lion. Easter is about finding a way to go on when everything looks really bad. Think about Andy. Sure, he was afraid. And he thought his family would starve, he was stuck in a bad job, and afraid the lion would eat him. Yet each time Andy found a way to go on, and things got better. It was not a miracle, but simply Andy's willingness to act creative. The word creative means being able to take a chance to change the future, to act creatively when things are bad. This is called hope. Hope is what Andy had to heal his fear, and it is what Easter is all about.
Like some of you, I have not quite been able to put Andy out of my mind. Andy from our Time for All Ages. We left him living with a lion in the forest. And though Andy survived with creative courage, things still were very bad. Living in the forest wasn't easy. And of course, there was the fact that all of the various slave hunters were after him. And one day, Andy and the lion found themselves caught in nets, taken to court, and Andy was convicted of being an escaped slave. Now, the judge threatened him to be thrown into an arena with the public watching, and then to have his lion, which had been starved for a month, set loose on in the arena. And when the day came for the execution, because everyone was certain it would be an execution, there was a huge crowd. And he was trembling with fear. He went into the arena, he was forced there, and he could see there's no place at all to hide. And he thought, now it's all over this time. And then he had a strange idea. When he had first met the lion, Andy had been lying down asleep in the forest. So when the hungry lion was released into the ring, Andy lay down and pretended to be asleep. And the lion rushed toward him, hungry, fangs out, and paused. The crowd thought, sure, the lion would pounce, but it licked Andy's face. The king was so impressed that he let both Andy and the lion go free. Well, Jesus was not so fortunate as Andy, but both teach us what Easter is about. Finding enough hope to transform death into living creativity. And that was the challenge facing Peter in his say what moments wandering around that empty cave. We who gather for worship on Easter Sunday are really following in Peter's footsteps. The Easter reading stops with Peter's amazement. But the Easter story continues far beyond as God continues to challenge the certainty of death with the promise of life. Why do you seek the living among the dead? That's what the dazzling clothed angels said. Why do you seek the living among the dead? Peter wonders, and then he begins to wonder. You see, this is not a great moment of celebration about Jesus' resurrection and the hope of a new life. The disciples, Jesus' followers, are perplexed. They are confused. They do not know what has happened. And so they wonder. In John 21, we begin to get an idea of how it's communicated to people that death has not triumphed. You see, what happens is Peter and some of the disciples are on the Sea of Galilee, and they are going to fish. They're kind of thinking they've got to go back to their old ways, to be fisher people again. And as they fish, they cast their nets as they've always cast them. And of course, as you know, they caught no fish. But did they change? No. They kept doing what they had been doing before, and just as before, before it failed. But then, over on the shore, they thought they saw someone. And that someone seemed to be signaling to them. And they talked to each other, and they said, it's like somebody signaling to us, telling us to do the casting of the nets differently. And they talked about that, agreed that it was a hoax, and so continued doing exactly what they had been doing, and still they caught no fish. So the person on the shore was even larger, was showing the cast their nets on the other side. The person didn't say it, but showed them. Finally, they looked at each other and they said, okay, put them out the other side. And what happened? The nets filled up with fish. And they brought them in. And then they thought, maybe that person on the shore, maybe that's Jesus. And they quickly rowed to the shore, and they saw there a fire, a charcoal fire, with fish on it, and bread. But there was no sign of anyone. Jesus was not there. And suddenly they knew that he was alive in them. Easter is about the kind of creativity it takes to heal the soul enough to light a candle amid darkness. Human folklore overflows with stories of people able to do that. Each of these tales challenge our fatalism and suggest that it's our responsibility to change the future. On Easter, our culture reminds everyone that Jesus' life is above all about the resurrection of hope, possibility, and love. In the Unitarian Universalist tradition, that hope is how we can act as humans. Most of us see Jesus as a person determined to change the world for the better. No more legalistic dogma or religion. Love, not law, as the standard in human relations. Hope above all in the worst of times. The Palm Sunday entry into Jerusalem was a quintessential moment in the ministry of Jesus. It embodied justice, his passion for it, and equality, his willingness to confront the forces of domination, and his invitation to all of us to step forward with him. It was peaceful resistance and a demand for liberation. He invited his followers to resist with him. Follow my way. Come with me. Restore love. And it calls us to ask, what is true, life or death? Why else would Jesus have gone to Jerusalem to meet a deadly future? Everyone around him thought his fate was grim, death and his religious movement dead with him. Still, Jesus moved through his trial and execution like a standard bearer of forlorn hope. In the end, he hung on the cross, the symbol of humanity, holding up hope amid despair. The image of Jesus on the cross is powerful, not because he was the Son of God, but precisely because he was human enough to die hoping that the future beckons. Events proved his hope was not in vain. What rose from the image of death was the promise of meaningful life among those creative enough to change the future. And it keeps rising everywhere and every time we act or speak to challenge the extravagant, moneyed fear with the audacious truth of compassion, inclusion, and justice. Hope is risen. Happy Easter.